That's great, man. Come on over, buddy. Let's chat a little bit.
It really looks like he loves playing guitar, doesn't he?
Absolutely. I wish I knew how to do that, man. I've been trying to learn now for the last couple of years. A couple of guys
really?
I know. Yeah, Nils
Taking
Lofgren.
lessons?
Nils Lofgren from the E Street Band's a good friend of mine. He's been trying. But I would just love to know how to play guitar. What's up, man?
How you doing, man? We are having so much fun. This is the best place to work. Do you have any more job opportunities?
Yeah, come on, do whatever you want. Can you cook?
I can. I can cook. I can play music.
Yeah, you can do everything. Hey, just talk right up on that mic. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's
First
okay,
time
man.
in.
No, we appreciate it. Really. Now, where are you from?
Well, I was born in Manhattan in 1969, but I was kind of raised up more in Connecticut.
Okay.
And then Pennsylvania before that, and then my mom moved to Woodstock, New York, in 1986, and then I started going up there, and I went to college at SUNY New Paltz.
Okay.
And I just stayed up there.
Now, Woodstock, is that where you sort of started getting involved in the history of rock and roll? Obviously, Woodstock and Bob Dylan and all that. Is that what got you into it, or were you playing guitar before that?
Well, I was born into a musical family,
Right.
and my father is Murali Coryell, and he is a famous jazz guitar player. He helped invent a style of guitar playing that became known as fusion.
Okay,
guitar.
yeah, I've heard of that.
And
sure.
he used to play with Jimi Hendrix. We lived with Santana when I was 1 year old. We'd live with Jack Bruce from Cream in Scotland.
Really?
Yeah. And that song "In the Room with Jimmy." It was written because my parents told me that Jimmy picked me up one time when I was
you were
3
born in
months old.
'69. He died in '71, so he had a couple of years in there.
Right.
Yeah,
I think he died in '70, actually.
Oh, it's '70.
Yeah.
Okay.
But but when my dad, he used to just take me wherever, in a little crib or a bassinet and bring me to the gigs.
And Hendrix picked you up.
And Hendrix picked me up, and he didn't drop me. Like my dad admitted to dropping me many times, and I can tell why.
Well, maybe he blessed you then, Jimmy Hendrix,
certainly
with some
did.
guitar players.
He certainly did, and my brother, he plays guitar for Alanis Morissette.
Wow.
We got gigs coming up at the Blue Note in New York, the end of March, Father and Sons.
Classic.
And so we're, it's so great to be here, man.
Yeah. Well, you really, so like Spike said, you really look like you love doing it, man. Like it's coming out of you. It's just pure fun.
That's what I try to do because, I was brought up to respect the music,
Right.
and respect the history, and respect people around you. And to me, that's why my band and we play so well together, because we respect and trust each other.
Okay.
And it's like having a conversation,
How long have you guys been together?
Pretty good long time. Was Dorian the drummer?
Right.
His father was my drummer for 10 years.
Right.
And then Dorian became grown up enough, so Dorian been with me about 7 or 8 years now.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
I met Vinny, and I've been playing together for about 3 years.
Okay.
3 or 4 years, but we've just played so much together.
Now, when you say it's like talking to each other, you mean improvisational type stuff, like a jazz band you hear where you just sort of, through the instruments, you're having a conversation?
That's exactly right. You're listening. Like if I do something, he's gonna react to it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like some people, they like to record their album and do it exactly the way it was on the album.
Right.
And the point of me making a live CD, which I made, which is now number 25, top 25 in the blues charts 3 months in a row.
That's
now.
great. I'm glad a band like you guys made a live one.
Well,
I think that's better.
Me too, because to experience it and the realness of it, like there's no, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And have spent so much time listening and talking about music that we worked very hard to make it look easy.
Right. You're passionate about it.
You breathing it, living it,
Breathing
like
it.
we'd be doing this anyway. You know what I mean? It's what you do. It's like what you do.
Spike, what about that?
Well, the thing that I think is awesome too is it's 3 of you up there. I always think it's so much sound for 3 guys.
True,
I'm always so impressed by that. You see some bands, 3 guitar players, bass player. You're 3
Well,
dudes.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I so often get the thing when you're booking a gig, they're like, well, how many piece band are you? And they want to pay you based on how many guys you have. And I say, I can bring a 100-piece orchestra if you want. You're going to pay me $100 a band for that.
What does that matter?
But it's really the quality. And I'm a fan of Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix. Those guys played trio. You can make it work if everybody knows how to play together.
Yeah.
That's right. Hendrix's band was just 3 guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
All of them. The Band of Gypsies and Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Right.
And all of them, the experiment. And the live CD, it has other people on it, but they knew my music. And they, you know what I mean? They had been playing with me for years, so I added, some other people. But this is the core of what it is. And when you got a good, solid foundation, you can put anything on top of it. And if somebody was to come in, and if they weren't really in tune with what we were doing, there'd be a distraction.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they're not on what we're doing, it's like, dude, you might as well go sit down. Because we're together here. Because it's not about any one person, it's about the music.
What do you think about music nowadays with the electronic stuff? These guys like the Pitbull, and you see the laptops and just pressing buttons, and it's not even music.
Well, you know what? Right, it's a different thing. I've discovered.
Right, it's just different.
It's like one thing is like club music.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you're not gonna really remember. The lyrics are not deep or anything. You're not gonna cry about anything like that. It's not deep. It's club party music. I like that, you know, but I'm trying to write something that has a little bit more depth and meaning to somebody, you know, who's been through, you know, whatever. You know, you felt things, you've lost, you've been through suffering.
The blues.
That's right.
Pain.
That's right.
There's a lot of behind great art is pain.
And love.
Right.
You know, and you can't have the love unless you have the pain too.
Sure.
And so I'm like, you know, that's what I try to do. I channel my feelings, my music, and just try to be as honest as I can. And the music is number one. There's no ego in music.
No, the key to anything is a great art is honesty and some pain. Well, you guys sound amazing, and here's the CD. It's called Murali Coryell Live, and what we just heard In the Room with Jimmy, and then what was that? Sugar
Lips.
Sugar Lips. And there's a lot of music on this, man. Look at it. You get
it's a double. It's a double disc.
It's a double disc.
And one is a DVD and one is a CD. So it's like, you know.
Oh, that's great.
I put together a big package for this.
And you go to MuraliCoryell.com and check these guys out because they're great. And here it is right here, if you can see it. Thanks so much, Murali, for coming. Coming again, man.
Artie, what a pleasure. And I'm a big sports fan too, so I'm looking forward to talking to you about all that too.
Okay, we'll talk again. Come on back.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Murali Coryell.
Thank you.
Take care. I'll be back with the last few minutes of the Artie Lange Show.